Hey there, I'm glad you're here at Seaver Shoots, back with another video. Today we have a aftermarket chassis from MDT called the Oryx. Really cool product. Before we get into it, I want to talk about some affiliates. For total, there are 2 in one industry and 2 in another industry, so you might think these are like competing companies, and to a degree they are, but I have partnered with all of them for a reason. So the first 2 are shoe companies. The first one is Lems and Zero Shoes. I like both of these brands. I think they're both fantastic. They are both highly recommended from me for you to get those feet healthier, whether it is exercise, casually walking around, or going up into the mountains, shooting, or hiking. These companies have something for you in order to help your feet be more healthy. Zero drop, wide toe boxes, very flexible, minimalist sole so that you can feel the ground. You are supposed to feel what is under your feet. That way you can react to it. My feet have gotten way stronger since I've switched to barefoot shoes, and these are both brands that I recommend. Their shoes look good, they feel good, and they've got options that don't break the bank on both sides. So go ahead and check out the links down in the description for Lems shoes and Zero shoes. The next 2 are both ear pro companies. I love the ear pro industry because I think it is super cool. It is something that we as shooters absolutely need. Even if you're shooting suppressed, most calibers are going to be above the hearing safe threshold. So you should be wearing ears when you shoot. I hate earmuffs, and both of these companies make earmuffs, but they also make low profile earbud style ear pro that provide active listening, Bluetooth opportunities as well, which I really like. So Axel has their Ghost Strike 2.0, and Pro Ears has their Stealth Elite. Why do they come up with these like cool like spy names for their products? I don't understand it, but I do like it. It's just funny because it's ear pro and they're coming up with these like super hardcore names. Anyway, both of these offerings are fantastic. They are same but different. I'll give you an example. I really like the Axel buds for a super slim kind of ear pro that allows for Bluetooth, while on the Pro Ear side, I really like their active listening. I think it sounds really good, and I like that you can disconnect the Stealth Elite buds from the lanyard and just run them as the buds, still have active listening, no Bluetooth at that point, but you'll see them a lot in this video. I really liked wearing those Stealth Elites for my long-range shooting sessions. If you're interested in either of these companies, then check the links down in the description. I guarantee you, if you're looking for some kind of low-profile ear pro, then these guys are the ones you want to go to. For Axel, I actually have a discount code. If you use Seaver Shoots at checkout, you will get 10% off, so feel free to hit that up. Now, let's get into our product. The MDT Oryx is an aftermarket chassis. It is all made of one piece of aluminum, which is really cool, except for the places where you see green. Those are plastic. Obviously, the buttstock is some rubber, and there is some more polymer back there. But the whole thing, from head to toe, has aluminum as its base, which I think is really cool. Provides a really sturdy platform. Also, a very light platform, which I appreciate because the gun that I built this off of is a Tikka T3 X light. As you can see from the very skinny light barrel that we have, I'm going to give some of you some PTSD real quick, but I want you to see that at the fore end here, there's plenty of space that you could also add a heavier barrel if you wanted to. So we are going to start up here at the fore end and work our way back for some semblance of organization as we go. As you can see along the bottom of the fore end, we have M-lock. There's also a hole for a sling swivel stud if you want to add one kind of quirky note here. I don't know if you can tell from looking at it here, but there is a bit of a taper starting about right here. The chassis starts to taper back this way on the fore end. It's not dramatic or anything, but one thing to note is you're not going to want to buy a regular piece of Arca rail to fit this whole thing because it's not going to bend correctly to the chassis. MDT actually has their own Arca rail that is proprietary to this specific chassis. So you're going to need to get that. It'll follow the taper and give you Arca rail all the way down. You could buy a section and just stick it here at the front before that taper starts. So that's an option as well. As for me, I'm probably going to use the M-Lock to start off with and just get a bipod that integrates with that. And then later down the road, when we're looking into tripods, maybe we'll start to consider Arca a little bit more seriously. But heading back from the fore end, we have a little nub here to index with barriers, if that's something that you need to do. And moving back from that, we have our mag well, which is an interesting point, mostly because I'm using a Tikka T3, and this magazine is a Magpul AICS magazine. So moving to this chassis from the stock one from Tikka, you're going to be able to use your AICS pattern magazines. But for you Tikka people, beware. The Magpul magazines do not work with the Tikkas. Don't know why. Somewhere in here, it hits it and it doesn't allow it to click into place. Now what I did was what any self-respecting man would do who bought a magazine expecting it to work. I made it work. I sanded it down. You can see this line here. That is where the Tikka is cutting in to the mag and where it would stop originally, but I've sanded it down so much that it goes in nice and easy, and we have no issues with it indexing. So it can be done. It hasn't so far hurt the integrity of this mag. It's the only one that I have. It's the only one that I've used since I've gotten this, and I've put about 200 rounds through this since upgrading the chassis. So I think this is fine, and I love being able to upgrade to these magazines, higher capacity, more reliable, all those things. I did have some reliability issues with feeding out of the factory Tikka magazine in the factory Tikka chassis. So that is worth mentioning. Moving back from there, we have our trigger guard, which is nice and big and could very easily be used with gloves. I actually really like how they provided this little shelf under here for your finger to index when you're not ready to fire, and then very easily to come into the trigger guard there. I really like this grip. I thought I would change it out because it is just an AR-15 style grip, so you could put a different grip on here, one of your favorite AR grips if you really wanted to, but this one's great. I really like it. It's rubberized. I think I'm just gonna leave it. The last thing over in this vicinity worth mentioning is the integrated thumb shelf right there, which I really like. So if you do the same side thumb thing, which in my opinion at this point you should, in order to run your bolt a little bit quicker and get back on gun fast, I really like that. It's on both sides, so you could run opposite side if you're weird, but for the rest of you, same side thumb rest. Really, really nice, good angle, all those things. Moving back, the next point of interest is going to be our cheek riser, which I appreciate. The Tikka did not come with one out of the box, and I actually made one out of an old holster. I melted it down a little bit, made it flaccid in the oven, bent it to my specs, and then actually super glued it to that chassis, to that stock. And so I like that this one's adjustable. We have our two little screws here, our set screws. You back them out, you move it where you want, you get your head position right, and then you just screw them down. They actually have aftermarket knobs that come for this specific thing, so you can buy those. I've heard those aren't great compared to torquing, that they move a little bit more. Under fire, they may come loose and you'll lose your cheek position. So I like these. You just torque them down to spec. They're gonna stay there. Maybe put some thread locker on it if you're really concerned, okay? Moving back from here, we have our butt, which is nice and squishy. Through the 200 rounds I've used through this chassis, haven't had any issues with that. It's very comfortable. Nothing crazy to note there. One weird thing is the length of pull is not adjustable right out of the box, but you can buy spacers from MDT. They look like this one piece right here. It comes with one out of the box. It's installed for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But this piece with the notch cut out of it right here, you can buy more of these if you need to increase your length of pull. If you need to decrease it, theoretically, you could take that one out as well and go with 0 spacers. So there's the option there. The last thing I want to mention here at the end is this guy right here. I really like this. All chassis should have some way for you to index your hand to push the stock back into you, so that it's not all just this pulling back into you. You can also add this so that when my hand comes off here to run the bolt back and then forward again, I have something to hold this back as I push the bolt forward. So I really like that guy. It's also easy to index a rear bag onto this, which makes it a really, really solid platform for you. One thing I want out of the Oryx that I do not have is the ability to fold the stock. And I feel like they missed an opportunity here, because right here is just the perfect place to put a little hinge and locking mechanism and allow this guy to swing whichever direction you want it to swing. I'm hoping to see that in a future version. I did ask the rep I was working with for this chassis about that, and he said they have no plans as of now. So if they want to take the advice of a completely novice, newbie, long-range shooter, I, in my opinion, would love to see a folding version of the Oryx for whatever that is worth. It's probably not worth much, but might as well be said in the video anyway. Very, very last thing I want to mention here at the end is the price, because I think that's important, and it is around $400. So you might be able to find it for $380, depending on deals and third party and all that stuff, or it could be closer to $430 if you buy it from MDT. I think it's like $429.99, whatever that is. And so it's on the more affordable end, you know, especially with all the features it has. If you want all these features out of another company, you're gonna end up paying more towards $600, $700, $800, and then obviously the more high-end ones are gonna go $1,500 to $2,000, which is bananas for a chassis, in my opinion. Considering that, like, it doesn't even come with the bolt and the barrel and the scope and all that stuff. It's crazy to me how expensive these chassis are, but the Oryx comes in at a very competitive price, and that's one of the major advantages I think it has, considering its rich features. Honestly, like, I'm gonna build deep into this chassis specifically before I get anywhere near needing to move up to something that offers more. I don't need more, and honestly, even some of the MDT sponsored shooters use the Oryx. If you watch their social media, they'll post their sponsored shooters and they're using the Oryx. It's got just about everything that you need, just about. Would love that folding stock, but other than that, super lightweight, lots of opportunity to build into it, and I think it's a great option. So go find yourself one. If you're looking for a budget chassis, I highly recommend going and grabbing an MDT Oryx. Guys, if you liked this video, I'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. I'd also appreciate it if you would head down to the description and check out some of those links if you're either looking for some low profile ear pro that is freaking fantastic for your ears, or some barefoot minimalist shoes to strengthen your feet and make yourself healthier. As always, I will catch you later.